My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminski, filling in for Dave Dubois. And have you ever wondered how investors successfully pivot from one real estate market to another, navigating challenges like communication barriers, time zone differences? Well, today on the show, my guest, Dwight Newell, hailing from the Okanagan region and now venturing into the competitive landscape of the United States of America, join me and Dwight as we unravel their journey and strategies from small multifamily burrs into these larger projects that they have on the horizon. Dwight, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Hi, pleased to be here, Bryce. Yeah, it's no doubt been an adventure for us.
Yeah, we would have had your wife on the show, but she had to go do real estate, so that's the way it goes. So,
absolutely.
How did you guys get started in real estate?
I think everybody romanticizes about owning an extra property for investment purposes type thing.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the idea of passive income, but as most of us know, it's not.
The people that are in the business know. The people that are standing outside going, man, I wish someone would just pay me money every month.
Exactly. We're at the peak of our careers, and we're looking for investments, and mutual funds just and the like weren't doing it, and we're fairly handy, and have improved upon our skill set over the years type thing. And started out buying condos, sold our condos, bought a duplex, turned into a fourplex, and pretty quickly we were buying fourplexes and taking them down to the studs. And gee whiz, you're buying 2 or 3 on a street, and you start thinking about land assemblies and whatnot. So that's how we got to where we are today. Of course, interest rates are no secret from everybody over the past few months here, a couple of years. So we went, gee whiz, we're 50 years old. Interest rates are here. We want to fully retire at age 60. Carrying costs are. Let's start pivoting. So started selling our properties in Canada and pivoted into the US. And we can talk about that further in your prompt.
Yeah, on my prompt, enter prompt. Here we go. Okay, so can you share what motivated that decision to pivot from Canada to the United States?
Well, in addition to the cost of doing business in Canada, for example, a fourplex in our part of the world is $750,000. The renovation is almost $250,000. At 3.5% interest, that's okay. You can end up building a 6 cap. That's cash flowing okay. And to being a member of multiple groups, real estate investment groups, we started hearing of people buying properties and doing the same thing that we're doing in the U.S. in various cities. So we ended up becoming a member of other groups that are in Florida and in Cleveland, and we quickly learned their reasons, which became our reasons. The entry point for purchases is a lot lower, and even though if you were to have a mortgage, the interest rates don't matter because the interest entry level is so low and the rents are so high. That's what attracted us to Cleveland, Ohio. For an exact example would be a down payment on a fourplex in our hometown here in Canada is about $250,000, plus or minus. That's just a down payment, and you put $250,000 into it. Down there, you own a similar building for well, you fully own it for $250,000. And with a 9% interest mortgage on a 70% LTV, you're cash flowing just as good or better than you would here in our own town in Canada for way less. Uh,
Yeah.
mhm.
I can remember when we were doing cap rate numbers on the stuff in Cleveland, we were doing single family rentals.
Yeah.
And the cap rate would calculate out after the insurance and everything because it was cash. Something like 54%. Like essentially you can pay these things off in 2 years. Like the rent, if it was completely dived in, all the cash flow put back in, the thing would pay itself off in 2 years. And the other day I was talking to a hard money lender and he's like, yeah, I'll give you 100% loan to value on that purchase, but you got to pay me back in 2 years. So it's like, okay, you buy the whole house, $30,000 loan in 2 years. It's like a $400 payment per month. The rent on that thing pays it for itself. So essentially the property pays for itself. And there's probably even some cash flow left on a deal like that, even with an aggressive like $500 a month down, a pay down on that loan. So when you look at um, those two markets, Florida and Ohio, what are some key differences you've encountered between those two markets?
Now we haven't we've shied away from the Florida market because of the entry level cost. Uh, uh, we could probably do almost as well in the Okanagan, given this nickname that the California of Canada type thing. Uh, and we're more in tune to do long term rentals, which is the Cleveland market in our experience so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And there
can't.
seems to be, like you're in BC, right?
Correct.
British Columbia. So you're about as far away as you can be from that property, unless it was New
Pretty,
York City or
pretty
New
much.
Jersey.
Hmm?
So are you doing the BRRRR strategy then on these properties? Are you getting conventional mortgages on them? Are you refinancing them? Or are you just doing the cash on cash return sort of thing?
Uh, we're doing both. On our first one, we were able to buy it cash, our fourplex, and we done the BRRRR. Essentially, we knew what we were doing in Vernon, British Columbia, so we transferred I'll say our skill set and knowledge over to another market.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that came with its own challenges, like I say, time zone differences. Uh, every long weekend is an extra long weekend because of sometimes of our opposing holidays and whatnot.
Yeah.
Uh, Time zones aren't too bad when you're
Well,
when
you're
you're
on the West Coast. Like it wasn't too bad when I was Central and
yeah,
Eastern, but you're even further. You're probably Pacific time. So you've got like a
yeah,
4 hour difference right now.
3 hours.
Right
It's
now.
it means some early mornings or some late nights.
Yeah, right.
But it's mostly communicating with your property manager.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and typically, what we were finding in the Cleveland market is that property managers come with their own team. We'll say they have their own contractors. Uh, they have their own connections with the city and the municipality and whatnot, and they
Mm-hmm.
they run their own little, we'll say, a mini business below our business model, and that
Yeah.
seems to work okay once you go down there and meet a few times and set your standards whatnot.
So naturally you're in the rental business in the States, you start exploring Section 8.
Yes.
For the Canadians listening along, that's like your EIA, that's like your employment assistance or your I don't even know if people still use the word welfare, but it's government subsidized rent.
Yes.
And so, what advantages do you see in investing in Section 8 properties, if any?
Uh, for sure, it's guaranteed income once your building is stabilized, uh, and it doesn't have that. It's better, in my opinion, in certain neighborhoods. Uh, if you're going to be doing, say, Airbnb, if you're in such in a higher class neighborhood type thing, where it's uh, more holiday oriented, there's no need to be concerned about guaranteed income.
Mm-hmm.
If in my mind, being in a foreign country, doing long-term rentals, it's it gives you that little bit of extra security, a little bit more peace of mind once the rents are uh, the rent levels are established and the monthly payments are coming in. It's just one less thing to worry about. Do you need to do that? Probably not.
Yeah,
Section 8 rent.
you can usually rent them out. Like I remember when we were doing the leasing down there, it was like a mix. Sometimes depending on the house, it might have been more challenging than it was worth, or the neighborhood, which wasn't a fit. But for the most part, we had a good mix of like cash tenants and Section 8
Yeah.
tenants, and I wouldn't say any is better than the other. It doesn't seem the only real difference was Section 8 tenants have to get a yearly inspection on their self, and the
Yes.
building has to be qualified for Section 8 rent. So they need to do their own, they come out and do an inspection. That was the only thing.
And that takes some time.
Mm.
You have to schedule it, and they have their backlog as well. No different than any other country in the world. And actually, we're doing in our fourplex. We have two Section 8s and two market paying rent tenants, and they're within $25-50 a month each type thing. So it's
Nice.
uh,
So, um, you know, there's a lot of talk about like group homes and apartment complexes, multifamily and these like multifamily buildings. Um, what sparked your interest in exploring like partnerships for group homes and apartment complexes?
uh, partnerships are always they're always a good idea because we can't do this all on our own, so to speak. For us, we like to do what we can with our own resources first, and then start talking to partners, private lenders, and or JVs, whatnot. Haven't went past private lending yet. Um, but what sparked our interest is scalability. We believe once we've proven ourselves and we can offer something to other partners and or people that want to be solid partners, private lenders, uh, we could all scale past our own means. I believe so. Uh, the fact group homes more in particular. Uh, what attracted us to that was the fact that it's one tenant. It's a
Mhm.
business. So it's you're dealing with less people. It is a government paid program as well. And the numbers work really well. They really do with the right partnership.
Mhm. So
We've
tell me,
looked at
how do you
okay.
approach finding and building relationships with these potential partners for
Uh,
these sort of ventures?
for us, we were just introduced through a group that we're already part of type thing. It's essentially a friend of a friend of a friend, and they're delving into the group home partnership idea themselves, and we'll be moving into it here pretty shortly. If I had to look on my own, I would be looking at government websites, whatnot. No different in Canada.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So reflecting on your journey, what would you consider, your biggest success in real estate so far?
Hmm. Gee whiz, that is a very big question. Uh, I would say the biggest general success would be realizing the realization that uh, if we do take action and we do involve other people, take the training, uh, do joint ventures, and bring other people into our business or join other people's businesses, uh, financial freedom is closer than what any of us think. I think so.
Mhm.
So the biggest success would be the realization of what real estate can do if you're working with others. I would say for a physical aspect of it, it would be, gee whiz, if you can own a condo on a ski hill, why not a fourplex? It's the same thing. Just a
Mhm.
little more set up and possibly easier to run once you own it.
Yeah. So on the flip side, what's been the most significant challenge you faced? How'd you overcome it?
I would say communication, but that's any trade, any industry, anybody's life, whether it's a brother, sister, husband, wife, or business partner, uh, the, the people at work or the people across the country. Uh, I guess understanding of everybody's situation, there's always something going on in everybody's life that you have to be, you have to be caring and understanding. And how do we overcome some of these situations? Say, for example, a time zone. Uh, Sometimes you have to say work a split shift or work a little earlier, work a little later.
Mhm.
Um, I think the biggest thing that we've done to overcome the communication issue is to actually physically get to know the people. That's always worked. That's always worked on the work site in Canada, and it's some of the better people, better relationships within our team between here and Cleveland came from actually physically going there 3 or 4 times and sitting and having dinner and meeting the guy's family type thing.
Mhm.
That works for
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Getting close, see what they're all about. So, um, communication with boots on the ground, we touched on this a little bit, but can you elaborate a little bit more on some strategies that you're using to kind of overcome the difference of time and coordinating meetings and team members, that sort of thing?
Coordinating meetings are earlier days, later evenings, just to fit everybody's schedule type thing. When you're dealing with contractors, whatnot, it kind of depends on what takes the least amount of time out of their day to get the information you need. Uh, we find some of the apps, phone apps like Voxer, WhatsApp. Nobody wants to have an exuberant communication bill across international borders, whatnot.
Mhm.
Uh, so really, some good phone apps and some good, uh, I guess, setting ground rules between what the contractors like to do, can do, want to do, and what the same with us, and just setting some, like I said, setting some good solid ground rules on how you would like to run your business, and meet in the middle as to how they want to run their business. Um,
Yeah,
that's a,
I always thought it was strange, the long distance charges in the year 2024. Like, why are we paying long distance phone charges when you could literally, like, we were in Houston a few weeks ago, and the fiance ends up with a pile of long distance charges from calling me within the hotel. Like, she's up in the room calling down to the lobby,
Mhm.
hey, long distance call. It's like an archaic kind of you know, cash grab. I always feel it's like, seriously, guys, like, the phone, I can take it anywhere, but I'm in this. That's like, no, it's crazy. So,
Very- very hard.
yeah, I remember having, we had to have two phones. I had the 216 number, and then I had the regular Manitoba number. So let's talk
Yeah.
about the future a little bit here. What sort of goals do you have on expanding your portfolio, particularly in the Cleveland market?
Our goals there would be as we have one fourplex now and one single family home that was turnkey Section 8 as opposed to the fourplex was a burr almost down to the studs. Uh, our plans now are to once our fourplex is fully stabilized to start searching for our next one. We know fourplexes. We know certain neighborhoods in Cleveland, and we're really pushing the group home business model because of the return on investment and the fact that we have a partner slash property manager that will be there as opposed to a property manager that manages multiple buildings. So we will be pursuing that, and we're in talks with another Canadian who's extremely interested in larger multis, and we're working together with them. We have the connections on the ground, property managers, contractors, whatnot, and they have the training in larger multi acquisitions. That would
Nice.
be our short term and long term goals.
So, based on your experience with real estate, what advice would you have to give to aspiring real estate investors, especially those considering venturing into a new market?
I would say training is probably the best thing you can ever invest in yourself. And it could be something as simple as getting onto some of the free Facebook groups. There's several of them out there. We vetted 16 or 17 years ago, and we ended up settling on one. Now we're members of three paid groups. Some people only need a 3-day weekend. Some people want to enroll in one-on-one for a year straight. There's lots of education out there, and through there, the networking comes. And other than that, if you have the means to buy a place, just get started.
So as a Canadian, there's a lot of, I feel like, and you might have maybe felt this when you started, it feels like even though the markets are right across the border, a fictitious man-made line, there's like this misconception that it's hard to get started.
It
Or
is
confusing, paperwork, this, that, and the other. So what advice would you have for people who are feeling that way about, maybe selling off a few things in Canada and taking it and buying like twice as many things in the States?
I would say, well, we are living proof that it is doable, and it is a lot more cost effective to be investing in real estate in certain markets in the U.S. as opposed to the markets we are in Canada for sure. You need to have the proper individuals in place, proper professionals in place to help out. You can do it on your own, or you can join up for some of these groups. Ourselves, we chose to join up for more than one group with one-on-one coaching sessions and whatnot in Canada and the US. And from those groups, we ended up going down the route with hiring recommended cross-border CPAs and proper attorneys that are experienced in working with Canadians, setting up entities in the US for proper protection, proper taxation, and whatnot. And even furthermore, meeting numerous mortgage brokers, real estate agents, wholesalers, and whatnot, property managers over the last year or two, and getting to know these people on a level that's required to run our business.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if people want to connect with you guys and want to find out more, what should they do? How do they find you?
Email is always good. A little slow to respond on that, but I think probably the most effective this day and age is probably Facebook Messenger, and we can go from there. Yeah.
So for the people listening along, can you spell the last name for them? So it's Dwight.
Newell.
And they can find you on Facebook under that name.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by, Dwight.
Same here. Happy to be here, and always look forward to talking to like-minded individuals, whether it be a podcast or a messenger, or drop by and have a coffee.
There you go. Well, until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Okay.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.